Well, let's make a C# Windows application. And this Windows application is going to be a web browser. So what I've done is I've gone in and I've created a new project, and this new project is a C# Windows application. And I gave it the name web browser. So this solution happens to be called web browser. And when I did, I came up with my form, and I made some changes to my form. And let me click on my form that was created, and let me show you the changes that I made to it. First, I gave it the name web browser. The other thing I did is that I changed the text to my own browser, and you can see the text here. So by the way, the name of this form and the text that goes on the form are different. Now, you may know that already, but some get that a little confused. By the way, if you don't see these windows here, you can always go to View, and you can click on whatever you don't see over here, Solution Explorer or Properties window. And if you want to if they're all out of whack, what you can do is you can go over here to Windows, and you can reset the Windows layout, and it will set it to this default layout. Okay, so I've got my form, and I changed the size on this. And let me show you. I changed the size and I had to expand the size. And on the width, I changed that to 640, and I changed the height to 480. Now, the next thing I did is that I went to my common controls, and I'm using Visual Studio 2008 by the way. And on my common controls, I chose web browser and drug it over here inside my form and let it go. And when I did, there's going to be a little black arrow there. And when I click on that, one of my choices was undock in the parent container. I've already got it undocked, but it'll say undock the first time. So I clicked on that, and it freed it up to where I can make it whatever size I wanted to. So you can see the outline of this right now. And let me make sure I've got this selected, and by just clicking on it once. By the way, if I double click on this, it will take me to the coding window, and I don't want that yet. So I want to go back here to the design. So I've got this clicked on once, and I changed the size of this to 607, which is the width, and the height is 385. Now, the location of where this is located, I changed it to the X value, which is the distance from the side to the starting point, which is 12 pixels, to the Y location, which is the distance up and down from here to here, so that's 12. And I changed okay, I've already told you that, the width to 607, the height to 385. Okay, and the name of this is my browser. So the name of this is my browser, this control. Okay, now that's important. We'll see that in a little bit. The next thing I want to do is I went and grabbed a text box, and go back here to common controls and go down and find a text box, and I drug my text box down here. Now when I did, and then I also went and I grabbed a button and I drug it down and plunked it on here. So I've got a text box and a button control. And on the text box control, what I did is I changed the name of this text box control. You don't want the default names because they're not very descriptive. So I changed the name of mine to TXT, which designates that it's a text box, and the name of it is URL. Now you don't want any spaces in there. The next thing I did is change the location. Let me scroll down. I've got this in alphabetical order. So I can scroll down to the L's and expand this. X location is 12 and the Y location is 411. So that's the starting point for this one. So that'll place it starting right here. And then I change the size of this. Let me scroll down to the S's and the size. The width of this is 526. The height is 20. Okay. So, and then I went over to the button control. Make sure I've got this selected, and when I do, I want to give that a descriptive name. So I change the name of this to BTN, which designates that it's a button, and then go. And I change the location. Oops. Let me click on the plus on this to 544, which is the distance from the left to the right, and the Y location is 411, which is the same as what it should be for this text box. Okay, and the last thing I did is change the text for my text box to go. Okay, and that should be it. Now that's the design of it, but what happens when I click on this go button? I'm going to, let me go ahead and debug, start debugging. Okay, so there's my kind of plain Jane browser. Now I can dress this up a little. I can put images on here if I wanted to, and put different colors on there for if I wanted to. But if I were to click this button right now, this go button, it doesn't do anything, even if I type something into this text. So I'm going to put some coding into this. So one way to get to the coding is that I could just click on this and it would get me to the coding window, but a better way to do it, let me go back to design. Uh-oh. Excuse me. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. Let's go to the coding. So the coding window, best way to get to the coding for this button is to double click on it. And once I double click on it, you notice that it takes me directly to the click event for this button. So you've already gone over events, so you know that when you've got several events that you can program for, and this click event is just one of the events that you can program for. And here's the beginning and ending squiggly brackets for curly braces for this particular event. So inside of here, what I want to do is I want to add some code, and the code is I want to tell my browser, and remember that's the name of that browser control that we added onto our form. I want to say my browser, and I go to mine, there's my browser, so I can press the period, and I want to navigate, and there's navigate. And on that method, what I can do is that it says in your browser, where do you want to navigate to? Well, I want to navigate to, remember the name of that text box that I added? I called it txt URL, and the text for that. Okay, so that's where I want to navigate to. So when I click that button, this event will fire, and it will go to my browser, and it will navigate to wherever whatever URL I entered into that text box. Yeah, let's try it out and see if it works. Let's go to debug and start debugging. And there's my browser. Doesn't look too pretty, but http:// or just put in where do we want to go? Microsoft, spell it right, .com. Yeah, it's as good a place as any. Click go, and there it brought it up. So, oops, that's not going to do any good. So I've got my web browser, and I can navigate to wherever I want. Okay, that's it for this step.